This man that you see right here is Andrew Ditch. He is an almost 40-year-old man from Tonawanda, New York. Ditch has spent the better part of the last decade faking everything in his life to get out of helping his family and being a normal member of society. And today, we will be going over his actions, as well as his numerous arrests. Andrew Ditch was born on June 7, 1985, in his hometown of Tonawanda, New York. There isn't much concrete information about his childhood, but it is widely known that Andrew has threatened his family several times, leading to him being hospitalized. The most notable example was when his father, Tom, was poisoned with antifreeze. Although this can't be proven, knowing what you'll know later about him, Andrew likely did poison him. Ditch then continued to live his life, making it to high school, although he didn't graduate, and then finally being able to get a job as a Ronald McDonald performer. On his way to work, however, Andrew and his family claimed that he was hit in a hit-and-run accident.
Riding his bike on Hines over by the apartment and Fletcher, and we got a phone call. We're sitting down to eat dinner. Come and see your son if you want, because otherwise he's going to be dead. He's laying in the middle of the street. So we raced out, got in the car, went over there, and he's laying in the middle of the street. He got hit by a vehicle, hit and run, and he's laying there, you know, his whole face is all mashed up and everything. And we had to call the police and the ambulance, get him to the hospital, whole 9 yards. And they said, well, other than the bruises, bleeding, and probably a concussion, he should be okay. And ever since, we've always questioned whether or not he had brain damage.
But a lot of people speculate that he was not hit by a car, but rather, he was screwing around and not paying attention to the road. So he fell over and was injured. Looking at his injuries sustained, it appears to really only be surface deep that left some scars, and not significant enough to seriously harm him. However, Tom and his wife Janet believe that this injury has left him with brain damage. After this incident, Andrew recovered and went on to live on his own. However, he could not afford rent and thus was forced to move back in with his family. After he moved back in, he started his computer repair business, called A Best PCs, and also became an amateur meteorologist. His PC repair business YouTube channel is still up, although it has since become inactive. Here is a clip of one of his videos, where he shows us how to upgrade components in a period-accurate laptop.
You want to open up the laptop, flip it over, open the laptop interface, press and hold the power button for about 10 seconds to make sure there's no charge on the motherboard. Such charge could actually cause harm to your system. We already removed the screws for the components we're going to upgrade. We're going to upgrade first the solid-state disk drive. The solid-state disk drive is a brand new hard drive that we're going to load into the computer.
His YouTube page is also still up. However, it has since become a platform for him to melt down and cry because people don't believe him. At this point, Andrew was doing well for himself. He was fixing computers and giving helpful advice, while also forecasting the weather for the Buffalo area. Why would he ever give up his life? Around 2017 or 2018, Andrew thought he could start faking autism in order to have everything done for him. He has chosen to throw away his entire life to live on easy mode. For a while, people believed him, as it takes a special type of retarded degenerate to stoop down to that level. So why would he? However, in November of 2019, Andrew was arrested by the Tonawanda PD because he had poisoned his family with Epsom salts and laxatives, presumably because they didn't believe him anymore, or for another reason that made him angry. WKBW-TV, along with other stations, covered the story, causing many outsiders to start looking into Andrew and his past. Unfortunately, he was let out, as his family decided to not pursue charges against him. This would ultimately come back to haunt them, as only a few months later, Andrew would purchase an oil diffuser, and since he wanted it for his coping skills, he would crank it to the max, despite his mother being on supplemental oxygen. This would lead to a meltdown, causing a police officer named Bentley, who would become a prominent character in the Andyverse, to show up at his house and eventually arrest him for not complying with his orders. Andrew then decided to repeatedly call crisis services to scream and babble at them, which he is known to do whenever people don't pay attention to him. Following his second major arrest, Andrew decided to continue his act, minus the poisonings and oil diffuser incidents. He would continue to scream, cry, and march around claiming abuse and neglect. He would keep calling the police and other emergency services for bullshit reasons, tying up and wasting valuable time and money. It got so bad that in 2023, Andrew's younger brother, Joe, would create a YouTube channel to document the actions of Andy, while also documenting the amount of stuff Andrew destroyed. He has thrown away medications and diapers, poured juice into the family's dog food, ripped up his pads, and most recently, torn up soiled diapers and thrown them around in his dad's truck. After his meltdown in April, Andrew decided to admit himself into a nursing home facility, not because he is insane and needs help, but rather because he wanted everyone to do everything for him on a silver platter. He was admitted into Newfane Rehabilitation and Health Center, but was quickly kicked out and transferred to Niagara Falls Memorial Hospital, which I cannot find archived footage of. He was then presumably moved to Sisters of Charity Hospital, where he uploads his usual spiel, then escapes and goes into hiding. His whereabouts are unknown until the 23rd of July, when it is revealed that Andrew had taken a Greyhound bus to Cleveland, Ohio, where he was admitted into Metro Health Hospital. He stayed there for about 3 days until his social worker found out about his past. They contacted the hospital to let them know about Andrew, and they then kicked him out. He called crisis services and 911 numerous times while crying and babbling about nonsense, causing the Cleveland PD and EMS to arrive and help him. The Cleveland police then researched Andrew and, with information from Tonawanda PD, concluded that Andrew was faking everything. He then went on a tirade in the back of the EMS wagon, which, coincidentally, was taking him back to Metro Health. He then proceeded to throw a fit and cry, which caused him to be arrested for disorderly conduct, misuse of 911, and disruption of public services. After about a week in Ohio's custody, Andrew was granted a personal bond, meaning that he was allowed to stay out of jail, but only if he returned for his next hearing, which he agreed to. Despite being legally obligated to return to court, Andy decided to instead leave Ohio and live in Erie, Pennsylvania, where he currently is. He hasn't really posted anything interesting since escaping Ohio, and he has recently went back into hiding, which means he could potentially be arrested for the 4th time. That pretty much wraps this up, so I will end the video with some final notes that don't really fit anywhere else. Despite having a log for using the bathroom because of incontinence, it is widely known that Andrew has a diaper fetish. He is also known as a pedophile due to playing at playgrounds, smearing feces on the faces of Daniel Tiger plushies, and watching Paw Patrol. He also has an adult baby kink for the reasons I just mentioned. Well, that about does it for today's video. If Andrew does anything else stupid, I might make a follow-up video. Have a great day, y'all, and keep warning people about Andrew. Goodbye.